Good. Well, thank you for inviting me, first of all. I believe it's good every now and then to take a step back and ask yourself, what am I doing and why am I doing it? And this invitation has been an opportunity for me to take that step back. So now I will try to answer that question for you. We stem from a legal tradition where the king can do no wrong. The sovereignty of the state cannot be questioned. And yes, we do have human rights in Sweden, but these are not really meant to be rights that you can invoke in a court. They're rather guidelines to the legislator to respect. We have somehow moved away from that perspective, and I would describe Sweden as having one foot in that old tradition and one foot in something new. I will try to give a few examples. This is Blake Peterson. He was deprived of his Swedish citizenship. 4.5 years later, the Supreme Administrative Court came to the conclusion that this was wrong. In fact, this was wrong because it was against our constitution. However, during these 4.5 years, he was not able to vote. He could not do his military service. He could not pursue his dream to become a policeman. He now wants compensation for having been deprived of his nationality. But the Swedish courts say, there's no case law to support any right for compensation. We'll see if the Supreme Court makes a change to that. These fruit vendors or food vendors were trying to sell fruit juice. And the Swedish Board of Agriculture, Jordbruksverket, decided a new policy where they said, well, if you sell this fruit juice, you're going to be fined because your can is not included in a recycling system. Unfortunately, Jordbruksverket neglected the fact that fruit juices do not have to be a part of the recycling system. As a consequence, the vendors on top actually stopped an order with juice cans from Iran that they had made especially for the Swedish market with Swedish text. There were about 250,000 of them. They also want compensation for this mistake. However, the state's position is that, well, regardless of the fact that this might have been a mistake or not, the mistake was not obvious, so they should not be compensated. This restaurant keeper and the hot dog vendor are paying fees for inspection of food, for food inspections and alcohol inspection to make sure that they follow regulations. However, for very many years, they have not received inspections that correspond to the amount they have been paying. So they, together with a few other vendors, have said, well, this is enough, I want my money back. Either I get something in return or I want my money back. Their cases are pending in a few courts. A few years ago, a man came to hospital having acute breathing problems. He died 2 years later. At the same time, they were making a commercial TV production in the hospital. And he was not aware of the fact that he was filmed during his stay. And about a month after his death, his wife and daughter saw him on national TV. Well, you can imagine that shock. They also want compensation from the county of Uppsala Läns Landsting. Again, the county responds, the human rights, the right to privacy, that's a guideline for the legislator. That case is pending before the district court in Uppsala, the first instance. These two cases have in common that private companies, in some cases multinational companies, are interested in the land where they live. Now, these companies join forces with municipalities in order to use an expropriation-like system. In the case on top, the architect of the municipality was also working for the company who wanted the land in question. That case is in the appellate court now. And to round off with a more positive note, I'll mention a case where the individuals were actually successful. A large company wanted their land, but it was decided by the final instance, the government in that case, that that company, if they want the road that they wanted, they can construct it somewhere else. They do not need to take these people's house, and they got to stay. Oh. Sorry, wrong way. So what do I do? What is my role? Well, I'm a lawyer at Centrum för Rättvisa, and I represent these people in court. Centrum för Rättvisa is a foundation. It's a non-profit foundation. It's an independent foundation that's founded on private donations. We do not get any money from the state, since the state is the party we sue. It was founded in 2002, so we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary this year. Our objective is to make sure that human rights in the European Convention on Human Rights, in our constitution, and in legislation in general, is respected. And how do we do that? Well, we litigate in court and we participate in the public debate. So, I'll see you in court. Thank you.